All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Yes, yes, yes. Well, it's going to be a good week. I mean, how many of you is Christmas your favorite time of year? For a lot of you, it might have been Thanksgiving, but it's still, when you can get together with people and celebrate the real meaning of Christmas and what it represents, and it's fun time. And so this week we've got some things lined up for you. But one of the things that I want to say is, as we are in this week of Christmas, how many of you maybe put a one in the comments if you are somebody that Christmas is a time you're closing the chapter of the year you're currently in, right? And so anytime you get to sit and maybe sip on some hot chocolate or coffee or eggnog or whatever, you're sitting there thinking about, maybe your hit list. What great things did you do in 2021? Because there's always great things you pull out of a year, and in things that you want to improve on, things you going into next year like focused on, and so our word this morning is sacrifice. Sacrifice. And for me, I'm going to throw a spin to it, and I'm going to throw it towards your profession, okay, or my profession, whatever that profession is. If you're watching you're watching this recording later, and you're moving into a new year, and I think about the word sacrifice, the act of giving up something that you want and that you like, but you do it to be able to go pursue something that you really want, right? And here's what I want you to think about. Like, we're going into a new year, right? And so here's where my thought is. And this was kind of, I was putting this down. I thought, man, I've got to come from the heart a little bit this morning, because right now for me and I told you I'm going to focus on profession, right? Right now for me, I believe I've got to come out of the gate in January on a mission. How many of you feel that way? That you got to, man, in order to make change in your life, sometimes you got to do something radical, like you got to make a move, right? And so you got to come out of the gate, and so I want to focus on your business goals. Coming out of the gate, 90 days, sacrifice. Think about that. Treat it like it's a job, okay, whatever that thing is. And I want to give you an example. This was laid out to me earlier last week. How many of you, maybe put a 5 in the comment if you would do this. If somebody offered you $900,000 if you would go spend 90 days in the North Pole. It's cold up there. It's cold up there. But they'd stroke you a check for $900,000 if you would go to the North Pole. But you got to go by yourself. That means you can't take your dogs, Crystal. Okay? Would you sacrifice? That means if your favorite kid, I'm kidding. You can't take them. You can't take your significant other. But it's $900,000 in 90 days. Like how many of you would go, no, I don't need the 900,000. No, I'm not going to do it. Most of you are thinking right now, okay, maybe I could swing 900 grand and sacrifice a little bit. My point being is sometimes when I want to pursue something, I got to give up things that I like, okay, to be able to do it. Sometimes, I think about Myra, and her career path, and sometimes there's a spurt, right? Or that she'd love to be with her mom and dad, but she's sacrificing to do this, right? We can all say that. What about a professional athlete? It's football season, right? You think they're sacrificing Sundays? They do pretty well. but there's a sacrifice, right? So here's my point. Maybe for you, it's hunting. Maybe it's TV. Maybe it's Netflix. Maybe it's Yellowstone.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. Maybe put it in the comments. What's your sacrifice that to be able to go get something you want? And I'm going to leave you with this, because I believe success equals sacrifice every time. If I want success in my health goals, I got to be able to sacrifice. I want success in my professional goals, I got to be able to sacrifice. And here's the thing I want to leave you with. I'm going to turn it to Coach. Because you're thinking about going into next year. And I want you to think about, man, if you could come out of the gate for 90 days and run hard, but you're going to have to sacrifice, what are those things you can put down for 90 days to go pursue something that's going to do something for you amazingly for your future? Okay? Success equals sacrifice. Most of the time, we don't want to miss on something that will make us happy for a little while, to be able to go attain something that's going to benefit us for a long time, a long while. Okay. And so I want you to think about that as we're going through the holidays, as we're moving. So, Coach, I'll turn it to you.
Okay. That's it's a good message there, buddy. It's really the word sacrifice, and I'll talk about this a little bit in just a second. I think it's just a terrific, and I'm having to use my phone right now. I don't know why I'm having trouble. I got two dadgum. I got a nice work computer, and then I've got my Surface Pro, and nothing was kicking. So I'm on the old reliable phone this morning. So hang in there with me. But why? Ask yourself this: why is sacrifice so important in life? Well, the more that we sacrifice, and when I say that, I'm talking about genuinely sacrifice for someone else, the more, what happens? The more we grow to love that person. Have you ever thought about it that way? He or she will become much more dearer to us because we've given so much of ourselves for that person. So sacrifice becomes a cause of love as well as an effect of it. So I'm going to actually kind of jump around a little bit. I don't know that I have a really good flow this morning, so just be patient with me, because this was a tremendous learning word for me this morning as well. Very eye-opening. Sacrificing for someone you love may help you show them that you care, and it may even make us feel good about ourselves. But with capital letters, B-U-T. If you find yourself always being the one who sacrifices, or capital letters, O-R, feeling forced to make a sacrifice, then that's when we got to be really, really careful. When I got this week's word from Coach and Andrea, we were starting this week with sacrifice. Well, I immediately thought, what a terrific word to start this week. My mind immediately went to thinking about the unbelievable sacrifice that God made for us by sending his own son to die on the cross so that we can have forgiveness of our sins. I can't even imagine sending my sweet little puppy Dolly Ray to sacrifice her for anything. So I can't even imagine that sacrifice. Then I thought about the tremendous sacrifice that so many men and women have made in our military forces. I know we have several military vets on this call, and it just brought me back to that as well. They sacrificed so much for us. They sacrificed for total strangers just to protect us in our great country. Ultimately, I believe, and this is Myra, I believe that we should all be willing to sacrifice for our family and others. Think about this. Selflessness and sacrifice are really unnatural. You've thought about that? It's just a little bit unnatural. We don't think about it that way, but think about it. It's just sometimes not easy. It's not a natural thing. We have to put aside what we want if we're going to benefit someone else. So who or what example do we follow when it comes to sacrificing? Well, in the Bible, we're told to love our neighbor as ourselves. It also tells us to put others first. Another area we might struggle with in sacrificing is that we might tend to be selfish and not really want to give up something for others. I think we've all been guilty of that, if we're honest. We've probably sacrificed something and then we've, it's just, we didn't do it for the right reasons. But we're instructed in Philippians 2 to love and sacrifice for others and to do this without grumbling. Yes, sacrificing is something we all need to do a better job of. Sacrifice willingly and lovingly, and I promise you, you will have an overwhelming peace that will engulf you. But sacrifice will make for just your family today. What are you going to do that's sacrificing for just your family today? I didn't even open it up in a broad perspective, just for your family. What are you going to sacrifice? Spend more time with them? Surprise them with dinner? You get the picture. Sacrifice is pure gold. And when we do it, it's going to take us to a whole different level. So I didn't mean to preach this morning. I feel like I need to pass a collection plate after that, but like you in church. But that's just kind of where my thoughts went this morning. And I hope that what Coach and I have said helps you understand what sacrificing is and what it should be for all of us. So love you guys. I'll see y'all Wednesday. I'm going to be traveling out to my brothers in Arkansas tomorrow.
Coach, safe travels, and thank you for the message. When I read it this morning, I knew it was going to be a good one. And I wanted to start the week off with the word sacrifice because I want us to think about, Myra touched on these as we go into this week, this Christmas. We're going to pass people this week. We're going to talk to people this week that possibly are struggling, that's possibly dealing with things. If it's just one person you touch this week, if there's one person you make a difference in, maybe it's a waiter, maybe it's a waitress, maybe it's somebody you pass on the street, maybe it's somebody you see out shopping. Let's find a way to make a difference, one person at a time. And does it take sacrifice? Absolutely it does, on your part or my part, but we can do it. Have a great day. Happy Monday. We'll see you back tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Thank
Have a good day.
you. Great message.
Thank you, Brad.
Happy